the care and the compassion from the people I work with, that was a massive help in helping me get through this. We have to be realistic, understand the situation we're in, to adapt and change within this environment. Self-isolation packages were a big thing. Work in the sanctuary of a hotel rather than at your own home. I'm also very proud of the people that are here and how hard they work.
Welcome to episode 4 of the Adapt series, brought to you by our team here at Nucleus. As always, I'd like to start by asking you to click on the hashtag AdaptSA in this LinkedIn post so that you can keep up to date with the stories that we're bringing you. I would also like to ask you to share these posts in your LinkedIn feed so we can help more South Australian business leaders learn what others are doing and who needs our support. Today, we have the pleasure of talking with Martin Radcliffe, the General Manager of the Mayfair Hotel. Martin's going to be talking with us about how the hospitality industry is ravaged but not beaten. Martin also talks about the work from the Mayfair package for business professionals who want to work in an uninterrupted space with a little bit of luxury thrown in. And Martin also talks about how the care and compassion of others have helped him stay positive and adapt. So let's hear what Martin has to say. Well, Martin, it's great to have you joining us as part of the Adapt series here. And as everyone's pretty well aware, the hotel industry has been ravaged by the temporary self-isolation restrictions that we've had to put in place to protect people from COVID-19. But the Mayfair has continued to trade. And as one of the most iconic hotels in Adelaide, how have you done that? How have you kept the doors open and kept the business moving, and even just recently launched your coffee service yet again?
Well, hi, Brenton. Good to be here. Ravaged but not beaten, I would say. And that's certainly a philosophy I'm sure the rest of the hospitality industry applies. How do we do this? Well, we have to be realistic, understand the situation we're in and what challenges does that mean to our operating business. Okay, then what scope do we have to adapt and change within this environment? What ideas do we have? What of those ideas are commercially sensible, or which ones support the brand which we've worked so hard to build here? We recently relaunched a coffee kiosk to the street because we recognized that people didn't want to come into the hotel. They couldn't, much as they probably wanted to, but they couldn't. So that was one of the elements we introduced. Self-isolation packages were a big thing. And that's a requirement that people have to self-isolate. But do they want to self-isolate in a boring, mundane environment? Of course not. They want to self-isolate in a luxury environment. So we created some packages all around that complied with all the necessary criteria, but gave the luxury. People who just wanted to get away from it, maybe not self-isolating, just have a nice night away, enjoy some room service, enjoy some movies, enjoy some frills, a cocktail to the door.
Yeah, great.
Created packages around that. Like other cafes, like other restaurants, like other hotels, we've joined the takeaway market. We've put our Mayfair twist on that, and we find that when people have gone through all of the standard offerings, they might get to the next Saturday night, okay, let's try something different. So they can now have a duck and tangerine pie from the Mayfair as part of that offering. Right. Work in the sanctuary of a hotel rather than at your own home. That was another thing we thought about. People maybe are not quite comfortable working at home. I don't love it. The kids are around, the dog's around, all the day-to-day things of home. Getting into an environment where everything else can be taken care of by professionals, albeit at an arm's distance and not in the room with you. Why not do that? Get your morning and afternoon tea delivered, high-speed broadband, get the room taken care of after you finish with it. And the last point is, what could we do or launch to make sure our customers were ready and waiting when the good times return? So we launched a gift certificate program where we offered an accommodation option, but then we matched the accommodation value with food and beverage added value at the hotel. So whatever our guests are spending on accommodation as part of that, we're matching it with food and beverage. Great way to hook people in, to get them to commit now, and then they can enjoy the benefits of that when the restrictions ease.
I love that idea of the working away from home package, because when you've got kids and other things going on that are distracting, it's nice to get away and get in a much nicer headspace, albeit a luxury space. What are the key challenges that you're finding in doing all of these things in a different sense?
The operating dynamic, particularly in the early days of this crisis, was changing almost hourly. The size of the potential market, we're squeezing a lemon once, we're squeezing it twice, and going back in to squeeze that lemon a third time. So the market's tough. our overheads are still there, and our suppliers need to still do business like we do. So it's about choosing which of those suppliers you can work with and you can afford to work with through this crisis. Again, just operations have to be tweaked, but of the most part, ensure we deliver a 5-star service at all times. Now, we are doing that, and I'm proud to say we're doing that, but we're doing that on a skeleton staff. So those of us like me who are lucky enough to be still working are working as doubly hard, and the extra hours, I'm delivering room service, for example. Quite amusing to see me prop up at your door with an apron on and a tray. Needs must. We're fortunate to be here, but I'm also very proud of the people that are here and how hard they're working.
Yep, that's brilliant. So we work with Adelaide Convention Bureau and other people in the hotel industry, and we've noticed what a tight community it is. What's the mood that you're sensing from other businesses in your industry, and what are they doing to adapt and get ready for the period when the self-isolating restrictions start to ease and we can go back to some sense of normality?
Well, look, Brenton, as you know, we're a creative, resilient industry.
Yes.
So I'd say there's two groups, and first, like us, we will not be beaten by this. We will diversify, we will move on, and we will keep visible and keep pushing things out. Second group, again, quite validly maybe saying, okay, we will just consolidate. We may shut operations temporarily. We'll do things behind the scenes and be ready for the bounce back. I'm not saying one or the other is right. We've chosen to go with the former, but the reality is both those sets of groups make up an industry that Australia needs, that South Australia needs, and we're very much looking forward as an industry to the public coming back and enjoying life with us.
Brilliant. And from your experience, what advice do you have for other business leaders and people running businesses that would be useful to them to actually, again, help themselves to prepare for doing business normally and adapt during this period of time?
I think firstly, I'm certainly big enough to take other people's advice. So I've been looking out at these well-known leaders. Who do I think is behaving well and in a good leadership style through this crisis? And then taking what I can from those. From my own perspective, my advice would be to maintain open, genuine, warm contact with the market. All right. The more people see us, the more that we'll be top of mind. So we have tried to be regular through our social media, through our e-newsletters and so forth. People's buying patterns, people's wants and needs are going to look very different when we come out the other side of this. Yep. The expectations of a hotel guest are going to be interesting.
I know that we've, as a staff, spent some really quality time at the Mayfair and in the Hennessy bar where you're sitting right now. And I would really encourage those of you who are listening that if you're going a bit stir crazy at home, consider contacting Martin and taking up one of their work away from home packages. And if you're looking to isolate in style, then of course Martin has a package for you. Or even if you just want a weekend away where you can enjoy a little bit of luxury, talk to Martin and his team at the Mayfair. And I'd like to end by asking, Martin, is there anything else you'd like to say to the people who are listening today?
What's blown me away has been people's genuine displays of warmth, caring, compassion through all of this. People you may not normally have associated with that have been touching base. How are you going? What's happening? Just checking in with you. I'd love to see that continue a little bit more frequently as we get out the other side of this. Like many others who've gone through some difficult times, I've gone through some difficult times personally in the last few weeks. Sadly, I lost my father over in the UK a few weeks back. But what, amongst all the emotions that I was experiencing then, what taught me was the care and the compassion from the people I work with, the people I see day to day. That was a massive help in helping me get through this. So I think I'd love to see that continue a little bit more when we get out of this. I'm really looking forward to giving people a hug or a handshake. I don't know about you, Brenton, and I think the compassion side has been really warming for me.
Yeah. Martin, I'd just like to give you my condolences about your father. I am sorry about that, but I'm also encouraged by your attitude towards this and the fact that you're looking at things in a positive light. And I am really looking forward to the opportunity to having a coffee with you or a beverage. That will be fantastic. So look, thank you for joining us on the Adapt series, and I hope to see you face to face very soon.
Yeah, see you soon.